Yes, people, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler, joined today with Henry Wright from Henry Wright TV. It is Sunday evening. It's 5 o'clock. We're just on the back of Tottenham's 2-1 loss at home to Aston Villa. Devastating performance. Devastating result. Maybe not such a devastating performance. I'm here to get Henry's takes on it all. Henry, how you doing, mate?
I've had better days. A great performance, but great performance in moments from players. Overall, it's tough to take. More, lots of questions have got to be asked about certain styles of play, players, the personnel. Overall, as a result, I think we had more shots on target, higher pass accuracy, more corners, more expected goals. The only stat we didn't win on was the goals. And, it's tough to take now. It's 3 defeats in a row. It's 3 defeats to Villa in a row. Manchester City up next. Tough games coming up. Forest away, West Ham at home, Newcastle at home, Everton and Bournemouth in December. And, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned at the moment.
Before we talk about that stuff, mate, the bigger picture stuff, let's talk about the game specifically. The decisions from Ange to tweak the team. How did you feel before the game going into it?
Yeah, just like you, I was pretty happy with. I think the defense was better having Royale at right centre back than having Dyer at right centre back. The fullbacks picked themselves, Udogie and Porro, Benson Core. Happy to see him in. I was finally happy we got a creative player in Gio. The front three was a weird one for me because it was the right players to pick, but it never clicked throughout the game. Kulu, for me, in that cam position, for me, was the best player on the pitch. And I think now that's where he's going to play. If we've got Maddison fit, I think you play Kulu as an advanced 8 now. I think the first 15, 20 minutes, I thought he was exceptional. Touches, passes, little flicks, drop of the shoulder. He was getting around players. When he kind of hovers out to the right, you know what he's going to do. He's going to cut on the left. Overall, I was happy about the team, mate. I thought, we did the watch along together. We was like, do you know what? We're going to win this game. There's no reason we can't win this game. But saying it and doing it's 2 different things.
Let me ask you, before we get into the specifics, I just want to pause and pivot for a second about going forward. Because I think that, I don't know if you'll agree with this, but I thought Lo Celso in the 8 today, I thought he had a really good game. And I completely agree with you. Decky in the 10 had a really good game. Decky in the 10 was something that we were all asking for. Most of us, you and I specifically, were very much demanding of it. And I thought he was great when he was in that role. I thought Lo Celso playing in the 8 was a wild experiment, but I thought he did really, really well. Have we uncovered today, put aside the result for a second, have we uncovered today at least a version of our midfield that we can work with in the absence of Maddison, knowing that Bissouma's back for Man City, Bentancur's probably out again, but looking forward to Man City, are you thinking Bissouma, Lo Celso, Decky is the right way to go until Maddison's back?
Yes and no. Yes, in the creativity, I like it. We created a lot of chances, but no, I don't think it's defensively as balanced as Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison. I think when Sarr's back, you probably will see him or Bissouma slot straight in that 6 role. Now, the problem you've got is...
Sarr will come back. So if Bissouma's back for City, he'll take Bentancur's place, but presuming Bentancur's back out injured again because he went off.
And you'll see a midfield, I think, of Bissouma, Sarr, and Kulu.
And okay. So is that a benefit? That's one positive outcome from today, that we've at least identified that Decky has been experimented in the 10 and actually handled it.
Yeah, we've been calling it for weeks. We've been, predictable FC. As soon as Kulu goes down the right, bang, cuts in on his left. When he goes to the byline, he's good. Today, we saw glimpses of the Kulusevski that we saw 18 months ago.
I agree.
Flicks in and around the box, touches, dropping of the shoulder, playing it out wide. That's the Kulusevski we all know and love. The Kulusevski on the right wing, for me, doesn't work. He doesn't look happy there. He's a strong lad. He can play in the middle. He's got the energy. He tracks back. He ticks all of the boxes for an attacking midfielder. And Newcastle did a similar thing with Joelinton. He was playing up front. They went, no, what are we doing? Get him in the middle.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I love this take because, we've just analysed the game on your channel. So if you are watching this, make sure you go over to Henry's to watch, because we're going to try and sort of talk about different things for these two videos. The positives for me are, I think Decky in the middle has become a revelation. I think he can do it. And I think that we now have to figure out how to do the wing areas, which once again today weren't good enough. In the past, Decky wasn't good enough on the right. Brennan Johnson, not good enough on the left. Today, we got to talk about Brian Hill and Brennan Johnson on the right, Hill on the left. Talk to me about those two. How do you think they got on today in their various roles?
Truthfully,
yeah,
I don't think Brennan Johnson at the moment is anywhere near the level of fitness, not just personal fitness, match fitness. You said you hit the nail on the head. I don't know deep down if he can play this style.
I think he vapes.
You think he vapes?
I know it's a wild accusation to make, but he's 22 years old. Guy hasn't got more than 50 minutes in his tank, and he doesn't even do that much in the first half. He touched the ball 9 times in the first half, and once again, second half FC, he was hands on his thighs at times. He's breathing. He looks like a smoker. I'm not suggesting I'm putting that out there as a jest. It's a joke, but like, he doesn't have the physical fitness. It's not match fit. It's just general fitness that I think is worrying for someone who's 22 years old, who touched the ball 9 times in the first half, and in the second half he was out on his legs. It's a worry for me. He's £55 million or wherever we spend.
47 million. But I agree, mate. So you're not getting the product you paid for. It's like going and buying an iPhone and coming back with a flipping Samsung Taco Lite. What are we doing here? We've gone and bought a
settings. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we've gone and brought a good up and coming prospect, 22 years of age, with pace and a bit of power and some good technical ability. But the best ability for me is availability. And if you're only available to play 45 minutes before you're puffing, it's going to be Ndombele 2.0. That's exactly what Ndombele was like. He looked against Wolves. After 30 minutes.
We were there. We watched that game. We watched it from the stands. So people that were watching it on TV wouldn't have seen what we saw. He was right by us second half. He was walking, right?
Yeah. And when he gets down to the byline, the decision making's not great. Brian Hill again today.
Yeah,
gets in the right position every single time. But the delivery, the final ball, the end product is non-existent. He looks like his head's going like this.
Yeah.
And his feet are going. His brain's moving too fast for his feet. And the final ball, he knows what he wants to do, but then doesn't do it and does something else. Like, the decision making.
The HD settings. Yeah. I agree with you. He's thinking before his feet can catch up. Too many flicks and tricks. I criticised Richarlison last season for the same, always overcomplicating it. I love Brian Hill. I want him to do well. Today, I thought little moments, good, but ultimately, bad decision making in the front three is the summary for me. I don't know if that makes sense for you.
It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. Like, I look at it right now and think, let me ask you a question. When's the last game the front three we've played have fully clicked? Do you know what game I think back to?
Either Arsenal or before that, Man United. I don't know. One of those two.
Arsenal game.
Yeah.
I think we've had moments where Son and Maddison delivered against Fulham. We hit it into a dangerous area against Luton. Hit it into a dangerous area against Palace, and Son scored. Without Maddison, we look lost for ideas when it comes to that final ball at times. Other times, we're getting the right decision, and you know what pass you want to play, but it doesn't come off. Like the front three, the best front three for me at the football club right now, right?
Everyone fit. Everybody fit. Yeah.
Right? Son through the middle. And then you go in. Now what?
Oh, it would be Perisic off the left for me.
Yeah.
And
Johnson can't play 90 minutes. Richarlison can't hit a ball.
Yeah.
So it's got to be Brian Hill.
Well, look, listen, I don't want this to be.
It's not. I'm not negative. I'm just saying right now.
I know you're not, because we spoke about this all for the whole game. Because I think both of us agree that the game, like we should have won the game, right?
Oh yeah,
we should have won the game. We played very well. The first half, you look at the momentumometer. I'll put it up on the thing in the after edit. But like we had, I think Aston Villa had the momentum for about 8 combined minutes of the entire 90. They took their chances. We didn't. But we put the ball in the back of the net 4 times, mate. So explain to me what your thoughts are around, if we can score 4 goals, but 3 of them are chalked off for offside, and it's that much. Or at least maybe Sonny's first goal, he was a yard offside and he didn't need to be. But, are we... how do we explain the vibe when you kind of go, well, we played well, we scored 4 times, 3 of them didn't count. Were we unlucky, or was it foolishness? Was it sloppiness? Was it naivety? Was it lack of experience? What is the reason why this front 3 can score 4 goals and ultimately also have about 8 other chances created that are gilt-edged, but ultimately still only score 1 and end up being 2-1 down at the end of the game?
I think it's naivety, mate. If you're offside once, you should look at that and think, okay, I need to give myself an extra half a yard to pull back. Then you're offside twice. I'd be thinking, right, categorically, I cannot do that again. For 3 times, if this was Richarlison, we would be absolutely crucifying him.
Yeah.
We would be going ballistic. Sell him, sell him, sell him. It's a disgrace. But because it's Son, and we know he's a good player, and we know how much he's done with the football club, and we know he's our top goal scorer, you cut him some slack. What I will say is there's been other games where Son has scored an offside goal. Chelsea, he scored an offside goal.
Yeah.
There's another one. I think it was
That's
Fulham
the margin, right? That is, and I'm asking you, like,
yeah, but you've got to eventually think, hang on.
If you're this far, if you're a yard offside, you are being sloppy. You're not reading the game enough. If it's 6 inches, is it just brilliant defending from Aston Villa? Brilliant discipline for their offside trap?
We can't say it's brilliant defending for Aston Villa and then he's done it in 2 other games. Like it comes down, it gets to a point where you're like, you just got to time your run better. You know how tight the margins are in the Premier League, the Champions League, all the domestic cups now. You're a toenail offside, you get flagged for it. And you're faster than 99% of the centre-backs in the Premier League. So the logic is, if I give myself an extra half a yard to pull back, I know I can beat him to the ball. I know I can get myself in the right position to get the highest opportunity to score a goal. But it's 1 against Chelsea. I think it's 1 against Fulham as well. So that's 5 offside goals. If this was Richarlison, it would be get him out.
So
all I'm saying is,
so are we saying
time your run better? It's as simple as that. Even if it's that fine margin, you could be that close to winning the Premier League, and you could be that close to winning the Premier League. At the end of the day, you didn't win the Premier League. It's irrelevant how close you are. Just time your run better.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. In January, because I think the difference today, right, was we had chances. We either didn't take them, or when we did take them, we broke the rules in order to take them. But we could have had 5-6 goals if we on a different day, if we were all on point. So I think in terms of creativity today, there was not an issue. I thought the midfield today, I know we were stretched real thin. Bentancur starting in the 6th. Let's hope that his ankle's okay and it was an impact rather than anything else. But the way it looked like it's probably a strain on his ligaments, which is a nightmare. I thought Lo Celso was really impressive in the 8, so I'm not that worried about him coming in. I thought Decky was brilliant in the 10 when he was asked to play there, so I'm not that worried. So I'm like trying to find the positives. But then you look at the back, and listen, I'll say that I thought Udogie was great today. I thought Pedro Porro was one of the best players on the pitch getting forward. I thought there were I was generally very pleased given the experimentation of our back four playing 4 fullbacks, 2 of them, but at the end of the day, Aston Villa only had about 3 chances and they scored with 2 of them. They had 1 offside and they had 1 post hit, but they was a snatch and grab. They had 8 minutes of momentum. Maybe I'm forgetting 1 or 2, but in a nutshell, they had about 8 or 9 minutes of momentum in a 95-minute game, and they come away with 2 goals. So to me, what I'd ask you is this: in January, given the fact that we can create chances, but we currently can't score with the team that we have, do you work on that in January, or do you focus all of your money at getting some people in at the back, knowing that Romero's back after Man City, but also, if Udogie's out injured again, and he might be, that there's no option B in the left back situation really. If Pedro Porro gets injured, there's not really an option. What do we do? Do we focus? Is the fact that we concede 3 chances and actually score and lose 2 goals more a problem than the fact that we create 10
I think
chances?
3 chances is a little bit harsh because I think they hit the post. I think Vicario made 2 other saves. I think they had 5 shots on target.
Most of them from outside the area, though, right?
Plus, they had a goal that was offside. Plus, Pau Torres put one narrowly wide in the first half. If I was to be honest about it, I just think Villa just have finishers. We only have 1. Like, other than Son, the problem I've got with Tottenham right now is who's scoring the goals other than Heung-min Son?
Who wants to score them? Everyone seems to be looking for Sonny. Brennan Johnson had 2 or 3 chances to
shoot, same as Brian Hill,
and he looks for a pass. Brian Hill has chances to shoot, looks for a pass.
It's almost like we want to sell more Sonny shirts. It's almost
I think this goes back to the point I'm making about this naivety of the team.
Yeah,
it's all very well looking for youth-centric models, but you still need to balance that with some absolute monsters of the mind.
You need someone who's got a clinical instinct who is ready right now. Let me put a scenario out there to you, right? If we had Ivan Toney or Harry Kane in this team, we would have wiped the floor with Villa today. Because Kane would have had a shot.
Let me counter before you put the scenario out there. Ivan Toney is going to cost you £80 million. There was rumours out this week that Tottenham are like Chelsea are worried. Tottenham. But if you do that, then that means
I don't care. We'd outscore teams. We'd outscore teams. Ivan Toney gets 20 goals a season with the amount of chances we create.
Okay, interesting. So you're saying the most important position for Tottenham in January is a striker, not a centre-back?
Oh, I didn't say that. I'm saying just on Ivan Toney.
Let's talk about this. We've only got a couple of minutes left, so let's get to the summary.
Our defence is better than our attack. I'll be honest. I think the options we've got in defence is better than our attack. I think Van der Ven, Porro, Udogie, Royale, and Romero is stronger at their job than Son, Kulu, Richarlison, Hill, and Johnson.
Yeah. I agree with you, mate. This is the problem, right? The feedback, and you've already told me on the end of the stream that people are furious with Emerson Royale, right? But they're not furious with Sonny. They're not furious with Brian Hill. They're not furious with.
So the emotion, they're emotionally,
and it comes back down to the philosophy, the mindset around if a striker misses a chance and it's 0-0, the game is still nil. The game is still 0-0. If a defender makes a mistake, the chances are it becomes 1-0 to the opposition. If a goalkeeper makes a mistake, it's almost guaranteed it's going to be 1-0 to the opposition. And so, today, the defense makes 1 or 2 mistakes and we get punished. The offense makes 10, 11 mistakes because they could have scored and they didn't. And ultimately, the feedback from most fans is going to be blame Emerson Royale for the defensive headers, and no one's going to give the appropriate consideration to the amount of chances that were created and not converted by our forwards. So on that basis, if you get someone in who's a killer instinct striker,
You put Santiago. I tell you now, if we could break the bank, I'd bring Ivan Toney in. Ivan Toney has got he's Harry Kane 2.0. He can drop deep, he can play the ball out wide. I think statistically he's the best header of a ball in the Premier League at the moment. There's a reason why Ray's distribution was so good, because you're pinging it up to Ivan Toney. He's the best penalty taker in the Premier League, just like Harry Kane was. He's everything Harry Kane was, just younger and not as Harry Kane-like. But you put him in this team, the only problem is that where does Son go? Because he can't go back out on the left because I don't think he's fit enough. You'd have to go to like a 4-3-1-2 and overload the middle and not have as.
I don't want to have to shoehorn. I'm not interested in the shoehorn conversation. I think you've got to just judge it on merit. You need someone who's going to take their chances. Sonny could have done the things he did today from the left-hand side. He one of the goals he scored.
I agree.
Was from the left-hand side. So basically, what you're saying is Lloyd Kelly and Ivan Toney, and you're happy in January.
Lloyd Kelly or Tosin Adarabioyo and Ivan Toney, 10 out of 10 window for me. Ivan Toney's that. He scored, what did he score? 18, 19 goals last season?
Yeah. It's not just him,
18, 19 goals in this team.
Santiago, I think Santiago Jimenez has also got that killer instinct.
Yeah, either of them. Just bring, even if you bring Jota in and you bring in 2 centre-backs, we need someone else who's got a different, something else in this team. Like a mindset of, I'm scoring that chance.
Yeah, I think the mentality thing is still an issue, massive issue. I think that Tottenham, and if they continue down this path of like just getting young players in or cheap players in, I think you need to get you need to sprinkle that team with 1 or 2 players that have been there and done it, or that at least have got something where they're not going to be fearful of the big moments. That's the only thing I criticize. So I thought today, I'm not critical of the performance. I'm upset with the outcome.
The result.
Henry, last thoughts on the actual game, mate, and then we'll round off.
Yeah, I'm same as me. I'm disappointed with the result, not the performances. Disappointed in certain performances, Johnson and Hill's end product. But you can't really. I don't think it's fair to fault anyone else. But for me, it's extremely concerning when you've got Man City up next, and if we get a mauling, regardless of where you are in the league or your position, that affects your confidence. But the fact we've already lost 3, it will be Tottenham-like to go and beat City and then lose to West Ham.
If we are 4 from 4 losses, and God forbid 5 from 5,
big questions have got to be asked about. These players can't play Ange ball, so we've got to change it up.
And you're going to start to doubt the system, yeah.
Not doubt the system or doubt just change, tweak things. I believe Ange ball can and will win you trophies. But you've got to have the right personnel for it. If we've got Maddison, Romero, and Van der Ven, we carve Villa to shreds. But we don't. We've got Davis, Royale, and Lo Celso. So you maybe drop the defensive line 20 yards deeper. You maybe drop Bentancur a little bit deeper. You maybe put the 2 centre mids that you've got a little bit wider, more of a triangular, an upside down triangle effect. At the moment, Villa, I don't think Villa were great today, but they did their job. If we do that against Manchester City, it's curtains.
So what you're saying is that Daniel Levy needs to go and buy some FIFA points and unpack some
packs
icons.
And get the right players for the system. Like Liverpool have done it for years. Liverpool go and buy players for the system.
Too much to do. Henry, where can people find you, mate?
Yeah, just at Henry Wright TV. And if you can't see what Postecoglou is doing, you can F off Danny Emirates. Simple as that.
We'll see you in a couple of hours, guys, over on Henry Wright TV for Tottenham Takes with Irish Hotspur, Dave and George and Deji. Lots to discuss. See you then. Cheers. Everyone, like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for 20K as well. Very cool. Very cool. Appreciate all your support.
Yeah, big up.